Good morning. Good morning to all. Good morning. Good morning. Good day to you. As you come into this moment, we're grateful for you taking the time to join our session, our hell-ness to wellness session. Hey, Chris, good morning to you, beloved. We're grateful for everyone who's also in our Zoom room. Yolanda, good morning to you. Good morning. I'm so grateful to come to where you are. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. I'm taking my time today. I know I'm slightly behind, but I'm glad you're here. I'm glad everyone that's in the room. I'm so grateful for you all. So grateful. Now let's go into what we're assigned to do. My assignment today is to talk about and unpack why there is still aftermaths and the aftermath from an implosion, how imploding, what imploding does and what it looks like. What does it mean to implode? Do I implode? Do you implode? Do we implode? Yes. These are real moments of the imploding. Is something that deals with the internal aspect of what goes on, either because of is when a person is subjected to intense mental or emotional pressure, and burst or breakdown, or if I may use the word collapse internally. Have you ever collapsed internally, mentally, emotionally? Have you ever collapsed? And when something collapses, it speaks to what it's holding, what it is holding, Chris. When something just breaks down and collapses, or something bursts or explodes, it's because of the internal swelling of a thing, a volcanic eruption, if I may. And I'm led to talk about this because the Holy Spirit is really keen to what his people or God's people is going through. And one thing about imploding, it is not a Christian thing. It is not a male or female thing. It goes beyond your religious status or foundation or beliefs. When you to implode, Chris, it goes beyond gender. It goes beyond age. It goes beyond social and economical statuses. It goes beyond. And I'm here in this moment to help speak to or unpack that aspect of what we go through as people, what lifing brings. It can bring so much pressure. And I've been sensing that for the last few days. of the weight of God's people, the weight of man, the weight of woman, the weight of any man or any person who has any level of responsibility, any level of responsibilities, singular or plurally, and all that you are managing. There are people in the room right now who are listening who are managing a lot, and you're multitasking even as we speak. You're emotionally multitasking. You're multitasking not just your emotions, but your significant other. You're multitasking with children's and grandchildren's emotions, and I didn't talk about physical needs. I'm just talking about emotional needs. How to manage when life is so busy, when we just get up and just go, when the norm for us to do is just get up and go. Can anyone relate to that, where you just don't even realize how busy you are, how busy life is? You and somehow or another you find a way to manage. And I promise you, with all that's on you, all that you're going through, all that you have to respond to, there's something, unfortunately, that gets mismanaged. I am so sad to say that there are things in our lives that gets mismanaged because we can go, and I'm speaking to myself in many cases, because all I know to do is to keep moving. That's all I know to do. I'm also speaking to myself. I'm speaking to myself in this regard. As you come on, please hit that share button. It's important for us to revisit this. This is something that I spent a lot of time with in our mental hellness to wellness session, because the breakdown emotionally and mentally is real. This goes beyond your title, your position. This goes beyond, and I'm not just talking about title in the, the kingdom of the church. I'm talking about your title as the man, as the woman. I didn't even mention the husband, the wife, the boyfriend, the girlfriend, the father, the mother, the auntie, the sibling that you are. Those are all titles. Those are all separate titles that we show up to, and that demands a presence, that demands accountability. When you show up with your siblings, they don't want mom and you to show up. They want the brother or sister in you to show up. They don't need the mother. Your siblings don't want you at this age and stage to mother them or to father them. And they may have that challenge because, they may need it. However, but that's not your role, right? And showing up, when you show up as a mother, or a father, they don't need the boss or the supervisor that you are at work. They don't, they need that mom, that nurturing, that father, that protection and nurturing, that mom, that protection and nurturing. So as you come on, let's hit that share button, please. I just ask, and if you are on our YouTube stream, please, I just ask you to subscribe to that. Now, where are the challenges? And so the one word that we are dealing with today is implosion. What does that look like? What does it mean to implode? What does it mean to implode? What does that speak to? It speaks to, it's the pressure of, it's just the pressure of performance, or what causes something to burst. When something implodes, it's because it's too much pressure going on the inside of that thing, that apparatus, that conduit that's holding things together, or that scaffold that breaks down, or when something collapses. And I sense that there are people who have emotionally collapsed. Yes, it's a mess. Have you ever put something on a table and the table was not strong enough to hold all that was on the table? Have you ever had a cheap container or a bag that begins to rip, that begins to rip and tear because of all that was stuffed in it, or a balloon that popped because it could only hold but so much more air was going into it? And there are times where, we internally, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, physically, mentally, financially, however, all the leads implode, Yolanda. These are real things, Chris. These are real things when even when you are pressured to deal with what is not moving fast enough. There are times you can cause an internal implosion in our own individual self. So it's the intense pressure of a thing or emotion or that will cause the inward bursting. When you can get so overwhelmed that now you burst, there is internal bleeding. There is something that's going on internally. And I believe that this lesson, this session today is such a need for people who have a lot on their plate, for people who are multitasking, for people who are misunderstood, people who are mishandled, people who aren't listened to, people who are not understood. Again, that word understanding, it will help a whole lot in many cases, but in so many times we just don't have that privilege to be understood. So I want to talk to that today. So let's break it down. Let's talk about the emotional challenges that come with or causes imploding. That mental, because when we talk about emotions, it deals with the part of the mental. It deals with the part of someone who cannot take but so much, can only take but so much, or have the capacity to only take but so much, can't take much. The reason why we buy larger sizes is because the smaller size isn't enough. If your physical body is a size 8 and you're buying a size 4, it's going to be challenging. If your foot size is a size 10 and you're buying a size 7 shoe, it's going to be challenging for you to get your foot into that shoe. And so, and many times our capacity or our help or um, ourselves in general can only understand, but so much, can only take, but so much. So hence lies the eventual breakdown, the eventual bursting, the eventual collapse, the eventual implosion. And I talk about implosions first, Claudette. Good morning to you. I talk about imploding. This is important for you to understand what causes the internal imploding. Now, understand this. I am not referring to anyone else in your life. We're talking about you, the imploder. Yes, me, the imploder. I call us all imploders because this is when we can think to ourselves, there are people who can really manage their implosion. In other words, have you ever looked at somebody and you were looking at them in a furious way because what they were saying was causing an eruption internally, was causing you to feel a certain way? Yeah, that's that. That's the imploding about to take place. Whether it was anger, whether it was retaliation, whatever it was, it caused or it was causing implosion in you. It was causing you to erupt, causing you to feel hot. Yes, the opposite of anger could be happy. There are times we implode with joy. So imploding is a real thing, both negative and positive and negative, good and bad. But we're going to talk about the negative first. We're going to deal and unpack how we implode. See, my assignment, I believe, to the earth is to help the individual person manage their heart and mind in difficult times, difficult moments, difficult seasons. How do I manage me? This is about self-control. This is about self-discipline. Even though you may be in an environment that is not respecting you, not honoring you, not taking you serious, not hearing you, that's fine. Okay, those are real environments. Those are real moments. You may be in a relationship where you're overlooked, where the person who you are with really don't care like that, really don't share like that, really really is quite abrasive, quite self-centered, quite narcissistic, or have narcissistical tendencies. These are real moments, and so these are how do you live? How do you manage you? It's a matter of you knowing what's around you, having the idea of what's around you, how to understand what's around you, because when you understand it, you can better navigate through it. You realize that's them and you're different from them. So there's no manipulation, control, or domination going on from you trying to fix him or trying to fix her. It's about you managing you at all times. You managing you, right? So we talk about those three spaces that you are accountable to. You have three spaces: your own space, meaning you, and then your family setting, right? Your family community, that's a part of you, your tribe, your best friends, people who are in your inner circle, right? That clan mentality, that clan group that you are a part of. That's that one group that you have to know, or you should know, or have an idea of, even though you don't, you know, we think we know people, we think we know family, we think we know siblings, but there are things that they've done, doing, and going to do that you will never ever find out or never ever understand. Right? They have cravings that are different from yours, understandings that are different from yours, appetites that are different from yours, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, appetites that are different, right? Views and concepts that are different from yours in your immediate tribe, from your husband to your wife, to your boyfriend, to your girlfriend, right? To your best friend, to your siblings. Everybody's different in your clan. And we should have an idea of how they are without trying to control them. This is not about you controlling no one. This is about you handling you. All right. And I sense I have to go back there because I sense that people are frustrated because you can't get people to do what you want them to do, to change or to adhere to what you want. Right. And that is a level of frustration because it speaks to you individually trying to manipulate or control a situation, be it through your resources, be it through your money, be it through your time, be it through who you are. That is too much work. That is too much work. These sessions are designed to help you deal with and manage you. I know you're married. I know you got a boo thing. I understand that. I know you're in love. I get it. I know you are the GOAT or the go-to in your family, the go-to in your group. I understand it. Let all that go for a moment. Just release that for a moment and help you, right? That's why we're here, right? Because the frustration in many cases is to what we've attached ourselves to, what we've committed ourselves to, and what we have many cases a false sense of commitment. I'll talk about that in a minute, because those false senses of commitment, Yolanda, can cause us to carry things that are illegal, that we're not supposed to carry, hold on to things that is causing the implosion. Now, so as we deal with that group, we talked about the various groups, so we have to identify them, who they are in our immediate group, our significant others, if you have them, our siblings, our family, our children, our best friends. That community is real. Then you have your kingdom community, right? Those are the people that we fellowship with. We are in concert with, in community with, in our spiritual kingdom, such as our church or our church group. Because again, I had to remind you, just a simple reminder, the physical building that we go to on Sundays and some on Saturdays, that's not the church. The church is a group, it's people. You are an individual temple, right? You are the church. We are individuals that make up the church, right? So that community in that building that we go to on Saturday or Sunday or during the week or for conferences or crusades, revivals, whatever it may be, that is a community that has many personalities connected to it. Yes, it's identical to our family settings. Yes, our spiritual community is identical to our family settings. It's identical because we see them weekly. We see them. We talk to them, be it on the phone. We talk to them, be it through text messages or emails, however you communicate. But communication goes on to people that look different from you, have their own views, perspectives, concepts, ideologies, right? Their own issues, their own set of traumas that had nothing to do with you. You may know about it, you may have an idea about theirs, but I'm just speaking to that community. So we talk about our family community, our tribe community, that immediate community, our spiritual community. And then for those who still have employment or entrepreneurs, you have your work community, that those people that you adhere to, listen to, report to, or report to you, however it is, that is a community all by itself. And that requires attention, that requires knowledge and understanding, that requires patience, that requires a lot of different things as well. All the components that we give to a family setting, whether you know it or not, your church community is like a family and your work community is like a family. So there's 3 different communities or tribes. And then I'm talking to people who are retired, but still have an idea, still have unpacked traumas and issues that happened in those communities. All right. I just thought I'd break down your community, your tribe, your clan. Many it may apply to, many may be such an introverted person and you're isolated. You don't get around, you don't get out, don't go around. I get that if that's you, right? But for the average person, it's necessary to talk about that because you're managing all that. That's what you manage on a day-to-day, whether it's part-time, whether it's per diem, whether you see, however it is, you're still managing it, right? It has an effect on you in some way, some shape, some form or another. It does. It has an effect on us when we manage those communities. Hey, Ron, good to see you, beloved. And so when we talk to this now, we're speaking to, watch this, we are speaking directly to you and the imploding part. I am taking time to deal what causes implosion, what fuels it, what is an implosion, what does an implosion look like? Again, if I filled a balloon or something that is not prepared to handle a massive amount or twice the amount of its original intent, it's going to burst. It's going to burst. It's going to burst. I asked you the question earlier. Have you ever put something on a table or a chair or an apparatus that you thought can handle the pressure or the weight of a thing, and all of a sudden it just collapsed and broke? Have you ever dealt with that? Have you ever seen that happen? Has that ever happened to you? Well, that's the metaphor that I'm led to use as to what's going on in us individually. Has nothing to do with your boo or bae, your husband or wife. This is about you, the individual person, me, the individual person. Why do we implode? Why do we collapse? What breaks down? Now, I'm glad we can get to that part because I had to lead up to what causes the collapse. And what causes collapse is all the things that we have committed ourselves to, all the things that we have accepted. We have accepted there are things that goes on in our lives that we've accepted and we committed to. For instance, we commit to working. As you come on, hit that share button, I would be so glad. You're committed to a job. You're committed to your business. If you're an entrepreneur, you're committed to it, right? So you're committed to something that brings a resource into your life. This something that requires you to go and exchange goods for services or products for services. Your expertise, you're working that job, whatever job level or skill level you have, you've committed to that employer, right? And the whole purpose of working is to take care of ourselves, to satisfy monthly or biweekly or weekly obligations, to satisfy needs that we have. That is a legitimate purpose for why we are working. Some folk have retired and they just are bored and they want something else to do. They learned a new skill, right? And I get it. So money is not the object. Money is not the main reason. And thank God you have a pension plan that's in place. You have income, residual income that's blessing you. If you are that person and you set yourself up that way, fine. But to the average person, to the centennial and the millennial, and to Gen X, some people are still working primary to satisfy their mortgage, to satisfy their rent, to satisfy their car note, or the maintenance of their car if they don't have a note, to put gas in it, to put electricity in it if you have an electric car, to put food on your table. All these things is the reason why we work. We are in business for ourselves. These are the reasons why. And some are juggling in school while working, and then raising the family, and then maintaining a marriage or a relationship. It's so many different things that are on us that can weigh the apparatus down, and or that can cause so much in it that it bursts. That it's about the burst. And I sense that there are people in the room who have already collapsed, already burst, already imploded. Your emotions are everywhere. Yeah, it's okay. We're going to help you do this. Your emotions are everywhere. It's a mess now, because when something implodes, what if a balloon or a water bucket or whatever it is bursts, right? Or a pipe bursts, or let's deal with that, or a pipe in the wall bursts, whatever it may be. Water is now gushing out. Water. Let's deal with that. I like this metaphor. I like the metaphor. Have you ever been in a room or seen the floors crumple up because of water damage? Water, a pipe bursted. I've seen it. I've seen it where toilets or sinks or something happened in the winter time, especially when pipes freeze up, and the pressure of it freezing that it leaves behind causes an eruption, causes something to implode. And now that water is now gushing out. I sense that there are people listening right now who have some things gushing out of you. And it may not be you. Watch this. It may be in your brother, in your sister, in your cousin, in your husband, in your wife. You see them imploding, and you don't know what to do, how to handle, how to manage it, what you want to help, but they are so guarded, so gated, so defensive, and so offensive, and they know it all, but they don't see the fact that they're coming unglued, or they became unglued, or you are that person who's unglued right now. I want to help you. You're in the right place. You're in the right place, because the first thing that's done is, in many cases, when there is a pipe that bursts in a house or in a room or in a building, the first thing that's done in many cases is they shut down the main valve. And so we want to go to the cause of it, where we want to shut down. Okay, we want to be sensitive to what really is, what really happened. And so I'm shutting the main valve down now, let you know you're not off. You believed, right? This is a real thing. You're understood. You're in a space that understands. And this is when you show up for somebody who's imploding, logic is not the thing to give right now to them. Logic, because if somebody's imploding in their emotions, I know it can get tricky, but if somebody is imploding emotionally right now, logic is not the best remedy at this moment. We understand your tears. We understand your frustration. We understand your anger. I'm letting you know you're in a space right now that understands where you're at. Just let it out. Continue to let it out. Let it all out. As long as you're not hurting yourself physically or anyone else physically, it's all right to cry. I sense that there's somebody who's going to be listening to this, who's listening while sitting on the bed, hugging your pillow, crying tears, of the fact that you've been mishandled, misunderstood, misplaced. And it's a horrible feeling. It is the worst, especially when you're giving from a sincere place. It's especially when you have given your all to a person, a place, or thing. Especially when you've given your sweat equity, the good part of you. Not only did you give the good part of you, but I sense that there are people who are looking at the time that you've committed, the time, the sweat equity that you're not getting back, right? Let's talk about that. What causes the imploding? This is where the causes. These are the causes of the imploding, the collapse, the bursting, the bursting. So I'm reaching in and I'm shutting off the main valve by providing a safe space that you are understood, you are believed. We see it. We are matching your energy right now. I'm sitting with you. There are people in the room who have the same level of empathy, if not more, sympathy, if not more, right? I said sympathy because sympathy speaks to the fact that I know exactly how that feels. I've went through that. I've experienced it. That's what sympathy speaks to. Empathy speaks to, I didn't go through it like that. I didn't go through that exact thing, but I can only imagine. You're empathic enough to recognize that that's painful, that she's hurting, that he's hurting, that they're hurting. And I'm not just talking about hurt from a physical death or loss, but sitting in empathically with somebody. It's a kingdom / divine presence that you can give them when you are just there present, not giving advice, not giving what you need to do, how you need to do it. Your presence alone says, thank you. I'm here. I'm a ride and live with you, not ride and die. I'm a ride and live with you. We are going to live through this. We are going to get through this. And my presence speaks to that, to your pain. My presence speaks to your trauma. I'm here, right? And so reaching in and shutting off that valve, going to the cause, matching the fact that you are emotional. And I'm not going to try to utilize my logic to make sense of it now. There are times we can show up to a problem, show up to someone who's imploding, and we show up with all kinds of logic, all kinds of a word from the Lord. You just won't let stuff go. You just, you're carrying it, baby, you got to, you're going up in tongues and all those particular things. And I love it. Don't get me wrong. There's a time and space for it. But at the same time, there are times people don't need in that moment, in particular space, there are times your logic, your spirituality, your warfare, your warfare principles are not needed in that moment. And there are times you can legitimately run somebody off because you're overly spiritual. You went into battle when all they needed was your hug. All they needed was, I'm here whenever you're ready. Sometimes that's all that's necessary. It's a non-judging, I'm here. It's a non-judging when you're ready. Those words speaks volumes. They speak volume to someone who is in a vulnerable state, who's in a state that's uncomfortable for them, a state that they don't like being in. But their trauma and their pain, is real to them. It's a real person, place, or thing. It's a real activity that's ongoing. They've already, okay. Peed on themselves. I work with elderly. I work around elderly at times. I can sense that working in hospice and working in the hospital setting, I come across people all the time who are transitioning in their age, transitioning in their body, can't do what they used to do, can't do what they would normally, So when people come to a point, even younger, who has experienced certain physical challenges, and they can't do what they used to do. Even patients of mine or friends of mine who have gone through major strokes, in their physical body, their mind is embarrassed because they can't in many cases. And I had to sit and understand this and study this out and realize that a person who was once vibrant, vivacious, upgoing and doing for themselves can no longer need help, need aid, need assistance. Do you know what that does to them mentally? What it does to them psychologically? How that person now need assistance. So it's not, they can't just jump up mentally. They want to, and their mind is still fresh, but their physical body, one part of their body just can't do it. So empathically understanding that is so key, that there are people in our lives who are mentally broken or mentally can't move. Mentally, you got to understand that some people can't take or do what you can take or do, don't have the capacity. We give the differences between a quart, a half gallon, a gallon, 5 gallons, right? I just named 4 different sizes: quart, half gallon, gallon, or 5 gallon containers. Quart, half gallon, gallon. Let's just deal with those 3: quart, gallon, half gallon. So I can't expect the gallon to fit into a quart. There's some people in our lives, or you may be the person that can't handle everything that your sister, your brother, your cousin. It doesn't make them better than you. It doesn't make you less than them in that area, because there's some area where you have great capacity. There's some areas in our lives where we have, existential capacity. We can handle a whole lot. Then there's some areas we can't. So identifying those areas that something is so huge and all you can offer to it is your half a gallon size of understanding, your half a gallon size of time. You know your limit, so you tap out. Nothing wrong with tapping out, because you know your limit. There are times we can stay in things that are so overwhelming that it causes the implosion. It causes you to go to the bathroom on yourself. You didn't mean to. You were bursting because you didn't have a place to release it. You didn't know how to release it. Those moments are real. Have you ever had to go to the bathroom so bad that you just like pull over and just like, right? Because something, your kidney was about to burst, or your stomach was saying, all right, don't play with this. You better let me out. Right. So the implosion, the collapse, these metaphors are a little challenging, I know. The collapse is real. It's real in many cases because many times we're around person, places, and things that don't understand us, or we've given too much of ourselves to something, or we've given ourselves to something that's too big for us, too huge for us. We committed ourselves to something that's too big or too much for us. These are real moments. These are real challenges. And I see and sense that there are so many people in our rooms and our social media and Zoom room that can relate to this, and you are in it yourself. You are feeling the effects of the aftermath, or you're about to, oh, it's too much. I can't take this. Okay, there's release that needs to happen. There's relief and release that needs to happen. How do I let this out? How do I let this go? How do I change this? How? Now, again, this may directly apply to you, or it may apply to someone that's close to you that's going through this. And sometimes we can write people off. give our mental impression of them and judge them. We can be in judgment without telling them. I had to check the judge in me. Right now, I don't judge nobody no more. It's gone. It's that Judge Brown, Judge Joe Brown, or Judge Wapner, whoever, that was in my mind, or if because I don't know what the cause is in someone. I don't know all that they're carrying. I don't know. I don't have it. So because I don't know it, I'm sensitive to them. I give grace. I come in a very, very safe space because I don't know. I can't judge it because I'm not them and they're not me. So that religious, that self-righteous, that space that I once lived in or viewed through, those filters that I've, the eyes and the ears, they're no longer convoluted. I love what the word tells us. One of my favorite scriptures is to be quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to wrath. I love that. That's one of my favorite scriptures. Be quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to wrath. That is James 1:19. James 1:19. Can somebody type that or memorize that today? James 1:19. This will help you. That scripture is being managed in my mind and in my spirit every single day. So when I give myself to listen to somebody, James 1:19 shows up. Before I go off, James 1:19 shows off now, right? 1:19, James 1:19 is one of the most powerful scriptures when it comes to self-help, self-care. James 1:19 is a self-care scripture. All right, let me wrap this up. Because how do we, I'm gonna give it to you, just give you a brief summary on how to do it, how to manage the outburst, how to relieve yourself before you burst, before you fully implode, before you collapse. Let's talk to that part. Let's talk that before you collapse, before you burst, before you let it all out. You can you can let up off the pressure. You can take the pressure off that weak apparatus that's holding something that's heavier, 3, 4, 5 times heavier than it. Before you burst, before the pipe bursts, before the balloon bursts, before you internally implode. Let's talk about this. All right. Those who are in our Zoom room, you pretty much have an idea where I'm going to go, and maybe you don't. But step one, before the collapse, before the implosion, this is a big one right here. Renegotiate the terms. The implosion in many cases is going on because of mishandling, misunderstood. You took on more than you could handle. But that looks like I'm giving this back to her. I'm giving this back to him. I can't do this. Here's your problem. Here's your problem. Here's your financial. I know I said I can give you this. I can't do this. I can't do that. This helps you. Watch this. When you renegotiate the terms and you give stuff back, it wasn't yours in the first place. It wasn't yours to hold on to. You volunteered. You made yourself available in many cases. The disrespect or the dishonor, or even when somebody keeps asking you when they know you don't have, keeps expecting you when they know you are full to capacity. That's when you have silent implosion. That's when we can be like, behind closed door. I can't get off the phone. Soon we hang the phone with the husband, the wife, the brother, the sister, the aunt, the mother, the job, or the kingdom experience, whoever it is. And we listened, but we got off the phone. We left their presence and we were infuriated. You were teed off, mad because they ask you again. So the ask in many cases is not, you know, it's how this is on you. There are times you, the individual person, can take more on than you should. You can obligate yourself to things, persons, and places that you're not obligated to. Renegotiating the terms, or it deals with you giving back, you giving back what you said you could do. I can't do that. I can't. Renegotiate the terms so that it's comfortable for you, so that it makes you at ease, so that you're not stressed, overworked, tapped out, overtaxed, mentally, psychologically, financially. These are real things, right? Renegotiating with your children. I said I was going to do this, but I can't do that. I can't. Here's what I can do. Renegotiating with your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend. Renegotiating with your siblings. Renegotiating with your job. Renegotiating with people on the job. Renegotiating with your kingdom responsibilities in your church. There are times you just have to really make things comfortable for you for a moment, for a season. There are times you have to tap out to recover you, to regain your composure. And guess what's going to happen? Those same persons, places, and things are going to keep moving. They're going to keep thriving. Yes, they are. Nothing's going to stop. They're going to find a way. There are times you can have a selfish person in your life, in your group, in your clan, and all three of those clans that don't care about nothing but what they want. They are so tunnel vision. And the implosion is going on in you because you're expecting to act and think like you when they're not you. Give them the pass. This is not about them and their selfish ways. This is about you making available what you can be comfortable with, without you becoming disobedient to God, or disobedient to your purpose, disobedient, or becoming insubordinate, and so frustrated. It's not them. Pull back. That's what renegotiating is. You're pulling back for the not in a passive aggressive way, not in the intent that I'm gonna show you and I hope you hurt. I'm gonna show them. No, that's malicious. That's intentional. That's spite. I'm talking about pulling back soberly, clearly, because everybody can't handle what you're giving. All right. So these terms are so vitally important to renegotiate internally with you. And then you're going to have to make it known to the person you're renegotiating with. No blurred lines, no anger, no animosity. Let them know clearly where you're at. They should not have to figure you out. Let them know clearly what's going on in you and why. That is so vitally important to the terms and to the countermeasure of handling the pending implosion that's about to take place. The pending that you're about to burst, about to collapse. No, let the pressure up, relieve yourself, because there's certain things that we take on that God didn't tell us to. We obligate ourselves to, that the Holy Spirit didn't tell you to do that. I understand the guilt and manipulation of people, persons, places, and things. I understand it. But when you're sober, you can look at, okay, this manipulation. It's manipulated. I'm gonna talk more about the witch that has our ear, that has our eyes, that has influenced us. The silent witch we can have in our ear, or witchiness. It's a real thing. We're talking about manipulation, control, so that it can dominate you, dominate your will, dominate your emotions. Do not allow anyone, watch that, any spirit to make you feel bad because you are putting you first. It's going to try. The emotions going to come out. What am I going to do? That's going to come out. You're going to get talked about. Self-care, when you start taking the reins back for you, start looking out for you, you better believe there's going to be a backlash. Oh, she different. He changing now. Oh, my God. You're going to get all that. Endure that moment. Endure those sessions, those seasons. Endure it. This is about you. They will find a way. They will. When helping them is hurting you, you have to look and take care of you. I'm done today. I'm so grateful for those who've taken the time to help us and to be a part of this mental hellness to wellness. These are real moments that go on in our day-to-day, our lives, and those three communities that we talked about, our personal community, our work community, and our church community. Those are real communities with real personalities, real conflicts, and real traumas in every individual, right? But understanding that it's going to help you, right? Walk and live soberly. This life is about self-control in every area of our life. Every area requires some level of self-discipline, all right? Before we go, I want to invite every woman in the room. I need to invite you to our women's gathering that's coming up on the 13th and 14th. The 13th is Saturday, September 13th at our Waterbury campus, 313 Meriden Road in Waterbury, Connecticut, from 11 to 4. Our pastor, Andrea Griffin, is going to be with us. Phenomenal facilitator, teacher. It's going to be very therapeutic and clinical on that Saturday. Ladies, come as you are. There's no color theme. There's no fee. We just need your physical presence. All right. Need you, every woman, every wife, every auntie, every mother, just women. All right. Need you there, right? Need your presence there on that Saturday from 11 to 4 p.m. There will be food served. It's going to be a time of reflection, a time of healing, a time of rediscovering of you. So prepare. All right, ladies, take off. It's going to be worth your taking off, and you're making the sacrifice to be there at our Waterbury campus. And then she's going to stay over and preach for us because she's a preacher teacher. She's going to stay over and preach for us that Sunday morning. We're combining services on that Sunday morning at 9:30. We're starting a half hour early. Or no, we're going to start at 10 o'clock. I'm sorry. No, at 9:30. Yeah, so we're going to be there in prayer at 9:30.
It's Wednesday,
I love
September
you.
3rd.
Blessings to you.
The time is
and I'm looking
7:05
forward to
a.m.
seeing you on those days.
Currently,
Right?
it's 51
Be
degrees
well.
with clear skies. You can expect partly cloudy skies until later this morning.